what can be proven without a shadow of a doubt is that there was definitely more than one shooter in the Las Vegas shooting. Here's why. This video was taken from a taxi cab driver who was waiting in line at the taxi station in Mandalay Bay. Her cell phone footage picked up the sounds of multiple shots from different areas and different distances. Here's some audio of shots that sounded very, very close to her cab. These are followed by sounds of shots heard almost immediately after the shots that sound close range. Now for the skeptics out there, or I guess you would call them non-skeptics, this can be passed off as an echo, but let me show you why it is not. 5 seconds before the shots heard from a long distance away, there was absolutely no shots that happened at a close range. Here's audio from even 7 seconds before the shots heard from a long distance away. Compare this to this. Completely different sounds from completely different distances. There was also audio from a police scanner that said that there was a second shooter on the 4th floor.
We just spoke with security at Mandalay Bay. They're saying they have shots fired on 29 and 32nd levels.
It sounds like it's confirmed there are at least 2 shooters with fully automatic weapons.
Units now advising no force probe teams into Mandalay Bay. There's possibly another suspect on the 4th floor.
This audio makes a lot of sense when you hear the close-range shots versus the long-range shots. Now, I've stayed at Mandalay Bay at least 10 or 15 times, so I'm very familiar with the hotel. A lot of people are citing the picture of the hotel that the mainstream media is showing, with only 2 windows blown out at the 32nd floor. But the fact of the matter is, in hotels like this in Vegas, where it's extremely windy, windows blow out all the time. As you can see here, this is a picture taken from someone on the ground today at Mandalay Bay, showing that multiple windows were actually blown out during the shooting. Now, there's 2 questions that remain here. If the shooter was only on the 32nd floor, and there was truly only one shooter, why would he need to break out 2 windows to shoot when everyone is reporting that all of the ammunition and weapons that were found in one room? Why is the media reporting that the shooter rented 2 rooms? Now, as you can see here, people are saying that it was a suite and both windows were a part of one single room. I've stayed at Mandalay Bay many times. These are definitely 2 rooms. Why would the shooter break out one window, shoot from that window, and then run to a completely different room and shoot from a completely different angle, while all of his ammunition and weapons were in one room? Now, I will touch on some things that can't be proven, but the one thing that definitely, certainly can be proven by audio from the cell phone footage of the cab driver is that there were more than one shooter. Close range, long range. No echo leading up to the long-range shots heard in the distance. Also, the mainstream media is reporting that the shooter had no clear motive. Are you kidding me? Reports are saying that they found an arsenal of 42 different guns, explosives, and several thousand rounds of ammunition. They're also saying that officers recovered an additional 19 firearms, explosives, and additional ammunition from Stephen Paddock's home in Mesquite, Nevada, hours after discovering 23 fully automatic weapons in his room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Again, fully automatic weapons are illegal to own without a federally regulated special license that this man did not have. They've already confirmed that he did not have. So liberals, if you're watching, the guns he had and used were already illegal. Your cries for gun laws in this case are null and void. Police also found several pounds of ammonium nitrate, a chemical used to make explosives, in the 64-year-old's car. Jessica Nelson was partying with friends at Route 91 at the actual festival when she heard the rifle fire. She said, "We heard popping sounds that sounded like fireworks, and then she heard a lot of single shots." Another Australian man named Brian Hodge, who he claims was staying in the room next to the shooter who opened fire. Hodge claims that he was able to escape the hotel, but found himself forced to hide in a bush for several hours until after the event unfolded. Here's what he says. He says, there were multiple people dead and multiple shooters. He said he was just waiting and hiding in the bush for several hours until police came. He says, again, there were multiple people dead and multiple shooters. Right here. Multiple shooters. Now, yes, I know that there is video of what looks to be possibly muzzle flash that's coming from a lower floor on the hotel.
It seems like it's coming from up there. Oh, shit. There. Oh, shit.
But again, I cannot confirm without a shadow of a doubt that this was, in fact, muzzle flash.
Preliminary 35. I haven't seen any flashes from Mandalay. But if it is coming from Mandalay, there is a strobe light coming from one of those windows on the east side.
But there was definitely more than the 2 windows they are showing you that were blown out during the shooting. Almost immediately after the shooting, people like Hillary Clinton are already tweeting calling for gun control. As you can see here, she says, stand up to the NRA and stop this from happening. Not only were the weapons already illegal, Hillary Clinton, but according to FBI crime statistics, only 4% of guns used in crime in America are legally obtained. That means if tomorrow you were to suddenly outlaw any ownership of any guns whatsoever in America, it would only stop 4% of gun crimes in this country. Liberals love to talk about the AR-15. This has killed 5 times more people than the AR-15 in America. Knife control now. This, around the world, has killed way more people than the AR-15. Pressure cooker control now. More ridiculously, but expected, many mainstream news outlets like Newsweek are already releasing articles with titles like, white men have committed more mass shootings than any other group. You want to argue race and crime, Newsweek? Black males aged 18 through 35 only make up 6% of the entire country's population. Not only does that 6% commit over 50% of the entire country's crimes, but they commit more shootings than any other group in this country. There were 2,000 people shot in Chicago last year. 2,000. 92% of those shootings were caused by black males. In American mass shootings, most of the victims are white. In those 2,000 shootings in Chicago, most of the victims were black. Are you saying that white lives matter more? So aside from the fact that only 4% of guns that are used in crimes are legally obtained in this country, which completely debunks any gun argument whatsoever, aside from the fact that there were definitely more than one shooter in this particular shooting, we are definitely being lied to in this case. Now again, like I said, I don't really want to get into the conspiracy theory type things here in this video, but there is a story out right now on 4chan posted by an alleged police officer who was one of the first responders inside the room, who said that this was actually a sting operation gone wrong. He says that Paddock was setting up a sting operation to sell guns and bombs to a terrorist organization, and it went wrong, and they shot Paddock and carried out a terrorist attack. This would explain why he had several explosives in his room. This would explain why he had bomb-making chemicals and materials in his car and in his room. This would explain why he had several different automatic weapons, 20, 30, 40 automatic weapons inside of his room. This would also explain why he sent $100,000 to the Philippines just a week ago. Also, it's already confirmed that Paddock worked for several different military contractors, including Lockheed Martin. He also worked for NASA. There was a report released by a NASA administrator that has his name on it. So that theory would actually make a lot more sense than any other theory out there. And I guess we'll just have to wait for our intelligence agencies to tell us more, who are pretty much incompetent.
As Director Tenet has pointed out, Secretary Powell presented evidence last week that Baghdad has failed to disarm its weapons of mass destruction.